Hi, this is Keziah, Draenei Survival Hunter from Burning Blade US. This will be the second in my How to Huntard series of survival tips and tricks for raiding PvE endgame content. This volume will be called The Wonderful World of Mods and Add-ons. Let's go ahead and start now by letting you know these are attempts on hard mode Anub, so don't mind my crappy rotation. It's pretty much a lot of bouncing around, so your rotation gets sacrificed here. But I'll go into rotation in a later video. This one is about my mod. Let's go ahead and start with the graphical portion of my UI and how I use it to raid. I use Pitbull raid frames and Pitbull user frames for the major part of my UI. You can see that in the bottom center, the two portraits. The left is mine, the right is the bosses or targets. You can see the bottom health bar is the target's health bar, the top health bar and mana bar is my own. I also use that for my raid frames, which you can see in the bottom right hand corner of the screen. I pretty much set it up bare bones because I don't need to know a lot of information as a hunter on the raid frames. There are very many setups for the Pitbull raid frames. Healers use them a lot. There's a lot more information that you can have displayed for you. Also, for my bar mod, I use Bartender 4. You can see the two bars in the center of the screen between the two portraits. That's where I hold my main action bars. I only use about 12 buttons in raiding mainly, and those are all bound. But also I use the little blurb of buttons to the left hand above my minimap, and that's just basically utility things, things like changing aspects and things like that. I use Omen for threat. I don't know if there's any other really good threat mods out there, but it's the only one I've ever used, and it works well for me. I use Swing Timer and Quartz Cast Bar, basically to monitor my swing timer for when I'm running around, so that way I'm not clipping my auto shots, and for my steady shots, Cast Bar and Volley for my Cast Bar. I don't really have any other things on a Cast Bar, mainly, but that's what I use for that. I use Quartz. I also use that for my target Cast Bar, which you won't see very often in this fight because the bosses don't do any long casts. But yeah, that's pretty much how that works. I use Bison for my buff frames on the left-hand side of the screen. That's just to keep it tidy and neat. It also shows my debuffs in the third row. You'll see I think right now I have Penetrating Cold, also displayed by my power auras. I use Deadly Boss mods for my my boss encounter information. I also use Chatter for my chat mod, which is in the bottom left-hand corner. It's a pretty succinct little chat mod. I recommend it. It's really good. I use Sexy Map, which is the little mini map there you see in the bottom. Tons of customization. You can make it really pretty or really simple. I tend to like things pretty simple, so that's why I chose that. I also use Class Timers, which is the little bar you'll see ticking down. Right now I have Black Arrow and Serpent Sting ticking away on it. It'll also show Hunter's Mark when it's my Hunter's Mark, but for the most part it only shows those three things. In the top center, you can't see it as well because it's obscured by the number of attempts we have remaining, but I use a mod called SLDT. It's something data text. I can't remember exactly what it is, but it's a really convenient mod because it will give you the percentage of your armor. It will give you the amount of gold that you have on you. It'll give you your frame rate, your MS, all that kind of stuff. And then if you look on my actual mini-map, you'll see that I have a thing for my mail, letting me know when I have mail. Also on the top right, you'll see that I have something for... I'm sorry, on the top left, you'll see that I have something for my clock. That way it's not big and bulky, the actual version. Now, one of the more interesting and customizable portions of my UI is my setup for power auras. As you'll see, I have lots of things flashing in the middle of my screen. Right now, that little face that's in the middle, that is letting me know that I'm not in aspect of the hawk, or the dragon hawk. It's pretty easy to forget that kind of stuff when you switch into Viper, as we do in this phase, so that I can regenerate some mana. Also, you'll see, at any given time, you'll see three little flames popping up. One flame means that Explosive Shot is available for use, but when three of those pop up, that means I have the two stacks of my Lock and Load proc. Basically, I set it up so whenever I consume one of the flames goes away. That way I know how many Lock and Load procs I have left. Also, you'll see three little color blurbs in the bottom. They're little skulls. Now there's two, the blue and the orange. There'll be a red one eventually. The red is my Greatness card. It's Dark Moon card Greatness. The middle one is my Death's Verdict card, and the far right one is my ICC Ring proc. Basically just lets me know all the little things that I have going on, so that way whenever we prop heroism, I can wait to use my Call of the Wild when I at least have 2 of those procced. I try to save it for that. Also, I use a little thing called Tiny Hunter Stats that's in the bottom. Can't really see it that well, but it's in the bottom of my frame. That's really it, basically. Oh, I also use D-Filter, which is I use it for my debuff filter, which I'm going to be phasing out as I get more and more used to the buff frames. But yeah, there you go. This is pretty much all my add-ons and how they work. You'll see every now and then you'll see the big red crosshairs pop on my screen. That's what I'm getting MD'd. There it is right there. That's what I'm MDing a target. And that's also in Power Auras. But yeah, that's it. Thank you very much, and I hope this was helpful. Happy hunting.